Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to call this meeting at 7 o'clock. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Von Crooks?
Here.
Benedetti?
Here.
Howie?
Here.
LaFever? Perugi?
Here.
Brizeppa?
Here.
Stack?
Here.
Quorum present, Mayor Stack.
Thank you very much.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to excuse Councilperson LaFever.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Councilwoman Baca.
Just to let you know, he is on his way. He had an appointment in Ann Arbor. He will be here eventually.
Then we'll put him in as soon as he, in the minutes where he shows up. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Next item on the agenda is the minute approval for October 7th, 2019 regular meeting.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Next item on the agenda is Trenton Lions Club Annual Candy Cane Sale, and I do not have approval by the Civic Commission yet.
Motion to approve pending the Civic Commission approval.
Support.
And I will, I did check the calendar just to let you know, because the Goodfellows will start on that Friday, which is the 22nd. So they're ended before they get into the Goodfellow Drive. So it's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Next item on our agenda, our city assessor, Resolution 2019-22, procedures to grant and remove real property tax exemptions. Mr. Dahlquist.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. The first item before you pertains to procedures for granting 49 real property tax exemption for tax exempt properties such as nonprofit cultural or educational organizations, nonprofit charitable institutions, home for the aged, chronically ill, or owned by religious, fraternal, secret societies, or nonprofit corporations, memorial homes, or posts owned by the Veterans Associations, property owned by youth organizations, clinic, hospital, or public health properties, or houses of public worship or parsonage. This application will help the assessing department make a decision to grant or deny a real property tax exemption. It is my recommendation, the City Council, to adopt a resolution requiring procedures for removing and granting real property tax exemptions.
I would so move.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Our next item is our city assessor resolution 2019-23, waive interest and penalty associated with Form 2762 property transfer affidavits. Mr. Dahlquist.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This item pertains to waivers for penalties if a property owner fails to file a property transfer affidavit beginning after 45 days of this transfer. Normal penalties are $5 per day, up to $200. And the reason why I'm asking for this waiver is almost 100% of these PTAs are filed within the time within this threshold. So we normally do not even assess a penalty for these.
Is there a motion?
I would so move.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Discussion? Councilman Howie?
I guess then it begs the question, the why, I mean, why have it, why give a waiver? So are we allowing people then to submit things late then?
Well, that would be, we're not asking the people to do it, but we're asking for a waiver in case, if they do, but we have found that it's really been we've had them file within the appropriate time. Real estate offices really allow people to do this.
I would disagree with that. It seems to me as soon as you take off the penalty, then who knows? They may not be timely. It doesn't hurt. Leave it on.
Okay,
I mean,
well,
everybody knows. I'm just one person, one vote, but this seems to me.
That's, and that's fine.
Councilmember Zappa?
How often is this a situation that we would encounter?
Not very often. Like I said, almost 100% of the PTAs are filed within the 45-day threshold.
And
That's-
about, I guess, this is kind of a loaded question, but roughly how many would you say we would get a year?
PTAs?
Sure.
Oh, probably, over 300 now with the way, with the way the sales have been going in the city.
Okay,
Yeah.
and would you, I guess, would it be comfortably like single digits then for people that might file late or?
This year, I doubt if we've had one late filing for a PTA
Okay.
this time. But but if it is this council to keep the penalty in place, it's not no skin off our back here.
Okay,
That
so
would be my recommendation.
the
but
maker of the
I'll-
motion
Was Von Crooks and
Okay.
Berzappa.
are you wanting to,
I don't know that it's that necessary to do anything. I mean, there's one thing. I mean, do we have to switch it at all?
No, it's already in the law, so, I mean, it's in the Constitution, so it's already in law. I'm just asking for a waiver, but if you'd rather not have the waiver, then it's fine. We'll just, we'll continue. We will still probably get these things filed within 45 days, and nothing will happen, so.
Perfect.
Okay.
did you want to just receive this and place it on file? Would you want to change your motion? That's what I'm
I
looking at.
mean, if it's the will of the council, I can change my motion. It's not gonna be that big a deal, really. So if Bob feels more comfortable with this, that's fine with me.
Okay, who was the second one? Okay.
Oh, no.
Where's that
I mean,
Yeah, and that's fine with me as well.
guarantee it wasn't me.
So, I guess what I'm looking at is, do you just want to receive this and place it on file and leave it at that? Or do you want to?
Or you could just deny the waiver.
Make a motion to deny the waiver.
I need you to withdraw the motion.
I'll withdraw.
Okay.
And I'd make a motion that we deny the waiver.
Sport.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Nothing against you, John, sorry.
Oh, no, I understand, not a problem.
Okay,
No, it wasn't. I was
Oh,
going to
and-
try
and
to
thank-
agree with
and
Bob.
thank you for your consideration.
okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is from our city controller, the 2019 Police and Fire Actuarial Valuation. Ms. Saul?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I provided you a report from Gabriel Roeder-Smith for the 2019 pension valuation for the police and fire pension system. This report provides us with our annual required contribution for the city. So starting July 1st, 2020, the contribution will be $1.9 million. That is an increase of $123,417 over last year's contribution. There was an increase in the unfunded accrued liability of $831,826,000, and our funding level did decrease to 74.9%. Gabriel Roeder-Smith will be presenting this valuation at the November Police and Fire Board meeting, and you are all invited. It is on November 20th at 10:30 in the morning at City Hall. And you can bring any questions that you might have. If you have any detailed questions that you want to email me, I can send them to them ahead of time. And then I'm requesting that you place this on file.
So move.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Councilman Howie?
So, not surprisingly, and we talked about it a little bit at our budget session, so what's shocking to me, and I know it's probably shocking some of the council and should be shocking to the residents, that even with this extremely strong economy and the market that's going on, we're actually losing our funding ratio. I mean, we
It
take a
has
look-
decreased, yeah.
and I know it has to do with smoothing and a lot of other factors, but it's really what it comes down to is, once again, it's just not a reasonable rate of investment of the 7%. So when you add the 4 years up, it just comes out to be 5.375. So it's just, I don't want to say it's fuzzy math, but it's just hard to believe, even with strong years, we're losing ground. But it's important that we continue to make our ARC payment. That's it.
Exactly. Any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is our city controller budget amendments for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2020.
Thank you, Mayor. So just for this quarter, I have a few budget amendments. One is for the ambulance purchase that council approved, as well as carrying over the balance from the city aesthetics account. And the other items are just, just a couple cleanup items from budgeting that weren't put in the right account, just switching them from one account to the other with a net zero effect there. The total of the budget amendments is $260,478.
So move.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead, and I'd like to introduce our state representative, Darren Camilleri, and see what he has to say for us.
Good evening, Council, and good evening, Trenton. It's good to be with you all today. First, before I start with just a quick update of some of the work that we've been doing in Lansing, I wanted to extend my thanks and appreciation to Councilman Howie for your years of service here to the city of Trenton. We know that you will be, departing the council soon, but I wish you well, and thank you for all your hard work for the city. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So I wanted to talk quickly about some of the work happening in Lansing. As you all know, the state budget process has been incredibly more complicated this year than we've seen in years past. Part of that process is that we do have divided government, and with that, we are seeing some of the strains and the stress of not being able to compromise on every single item in the budget. So if you're paying attention, we passed a budget. Some of it was bipartisan, some of the budgets were not bipartisan, but at the very end of this process, Governor Whitmer vetoed 147 items within the budget, which amounted to almost $1 billion in revenue. That is historic. It is the most vetoes we've ever seen in a budget out of a governor, which leads us to additional conversations that we have to have. The things that I think were protected in that process were revenue sharing. So you'll still see the bump in revenue sharing of 2.4% to the city of Trenton, which is good. It's not enough, and we fought for more, but it is helpful. And we still will see a lot of our other programs go forward for our residents paying attention. The school funding went through for traditional public schools. Trenton saw an increase of $120 per pupil for Trenton Public Schools. We are already at the higher end for the city of Trenton. So Trenton and Grosse Ile are at that higher end of per pupil funding. Some of the other school districts that are at the lower end got additional dollars as well. Some of the conversations around charter schools, though, we are seeing some debate over that because the governor did end up vetoing the increase for charter schools. So we'll look forward for the next couple weeks. We have session remaining this month into November and December that hopefully will come up with a deal to restore some of those funding cuts. The other thing I wanted to highlight is specifically around our infrastructure issues. So long term, we know that we need an infrastructure package that deals with our roads and our infrastructure sustainably for the long term. We need to raise $2.5 billion in new revenue at the state level to then allow us to give that money to locals to then help fix these problems. We do not have a full plan on the table from the Republicans who've been in the legislature. The governor has her proposal. House Democrats are working on our proposal. We're looking at more of a fair share model that includes closing loopholes for corporations. It includes going after some of these heavier trucks that we know do extensive damage to the roads and would lessen any type of impact coming out of our pockets, which we think is a fair way to approach this. And hopefully we can come to the table and come to that agreement. Part of this bigger conversation around infrastructure, though, is around our train problems here downriver, which is one of the things I really wanted to highlight and talk to you all about today. So we all know that our train issues are incredibly difficult to deal with. They are challenging to our public safety. They are challenging to our residents getting to and from where they need to be. And so since I've been in Lansing, it has been my fight to really bring attention to this issue and talk more concretely about how we can solve this problem. In the long term, what we need is a stable fund within MDOT's budget to help address these crossings in a systematic way. Indiana implemented a program in 2018. They spent $120 million that allowed for local communities to then apply for funds to build bridges over or underneath the railroad crossings. They have a huge congestion problem near Gary, near Chicago, sort of similar to what we deal with when it comes to us having our freight move from Detroit to Toledo or from Canada to Toledo. We have the largest concentration of train yards with this problem in North America, actually, is right here in our backyard. It's our train yard in Woodhaven, Flat Rock area, and then as well as the one that goes over in New Boston. So this week, I introduced a package of legislation to create that fund based on what Indiana is doing. Our two bills would create the fund, set aside $50 million annually, and then also prioritize the projects based on a list of criteria that I worked with Scott Church on, as well as some other local elected and city administrators across the region. It includes things like access to an emergency route, access to a hospital, school, or nursing home, distance within the train yard, so 3 miles within a train yard, essentially zeroing in on our problems to create that list of priorities to then help us get these bridge problems funded first. This is the only way, in my opinion, to solve this for the long term. Now, if the federal Congress wants to act and deal with train length and some of the things around that, they are able to do that. I do not believe that they will. And so it is my hope that we will push forward this larger package that can then help us get things like Fort Street completed and really put our project here in the city of Trenton at the top of the list. I had a meeting on Friday with Mayor Stack as well as Councilman Lefevre and Administrator Church as well to talk through a little bit more about what that looks like for the city of Trenton. How can we prioritize that project? If my bill package gets passed and signed into law, which it is bipartisan. I am working with Republicans on this issue. They want to see this done as well, so I'm hopeful that this term we can get something done. We will see the list of priorities essentially zero in on what's going on Fort Street in Trenton, as well as what's happening in Woodhaven and what's happening in New Boston. We think that with the way that we've written the bill, we would essentially spend $50 million annually in this fund, whereas currently there is only a $3 million fund that goes towards anything to do with rail grade separation in MDOT's budget. $3 million annually. You cannot do anything with $3 million at a systematic level to help fix this rail problem. I believe that the city has tapped into that fund to do things like the warning signs and some of that stuff, but that is not necessarily the long-term solution. It's helpful, but we know we have to build the bridge. So I'm hopeful that we'll move that forward. The second piece that's part of this too, though, is that we did receive some funding in the state budget for a Woodhaven crossing. It has been on the list of priority for folks in the legislature because we've had this request not just from my time, but from the time of Senator Coleman Young, Rep. Patrick Somerville, people who had served for years before me had continuously been making that request. That request was granted, and the city of Woodhaven is going to receive $12 million to help build a bridge either at Allen Road or on Van Horn. I am working with the city officials there as well as the county to help identify the remaining source of funding to help build one of those bridges, which I do take as a victory for our region because we've been talking about this problem for my entire life and we have never seen any concrete action. This is the furthest that we've made any progress on this issue, which I'm very excited about it. But we have to have the long-term solution as well, which is something that I would love your support on as we seek to fix this problem. I'm hopeful. I think that we can get there, and I'm excited to see how we can deal with this in the legislature going forward. So be happy to take any questions if you have any. Otherwise, I'll be around afterwards as well.
The one thing I'd like to know, or to let you know, Darren, thank you for meeting with us on Friday. Also, what I'm interested in is if we need any support letters for you. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that the council would be happy to do that. So just let us know when the time comes, if you need that, or anything that we can do to make other legislatures, the people in the legislature know that we have a problem, major problem.
Yeah, actually a support letter for the bills would be incredibly helpful. So it's SB 364 in the Senate, which is sponsored by Senator Zorn from Monroe, Republican from Monroe. And then mine are HB 5129 and HB 5130. So those three bills in total would then create the fund, set the parameters, and then set aside the funding as well.
Very good. Very good. Anybody else? Councilman Von Crooks.
Yeah, I want to thank you too, Darren, but I have one question about the Woodhaven project. They were awarded the $12 million, mm-hmm. but we've been told that that's not nearly enough money to complete that project. It wouldn't be for Trenton either. So how are they going to propose to do that project with not enough funding?
So it depends on which route the city of Woodhaven decides to take, whether it's Van Horn or Allen Road. Van Horn is significantly cheaper. Allen Road's a little bit more expensive, but it actually unlocks a little bit more money because it's in their DDA. And so I've been talking with the city of Woodhaven. They're actually looking to spend anywhere from $3 million to $9 million of city money to help fund it. And then we're working with the county to then close that gap, whether that's, you know, $5 or $6 million from the county for either project. We're having some productive conversations about that, working with Warren Evans' office directly, and I think that we can close that gap, which would be tremendous.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Zappa?
Yeah, just thanks for coming down here, Representative Camilleri. I appreciate it and appreciate all your work on that. I suppose I just kind of want to do, I don't know if we need to formalize it, but I'd make a motion to craft a support letter to send to, we should probably do every member of the state legislature and the governor's office, if possible, in support of this bill package. Just to really highlight a lot of the issues we've been dealing with.
Supported. Is there any discussion? Councilman LaFever.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got stuck out with my wife. We were out in Ann Arbor and all the traffic, couldn't get here. But I also met with Kyle and Darren and talked about things, okay? But before we support a bill, and I've heard my thing, I like to see what's exactly in it, okay? And I mean, what's in it for the people of Trenton? That's who I serve, okay? And I thought he did a great presentation when I talked to him, but I always get concerned about, when we're concerned about everybody else, there's been an awful lot of meetings between those people in the city of Woodhaven, okay? I want somebody to tell me that that's the best place to put the grade separation, okay? Somebody's got to still tell me that it belongs over there, okay? Because I don't believe it does. All right, that's my personal opinion, okay? But he's done an awful lot of work on it. I don't want to kill this bill. He's gotten bipartisan support, which I commend you for that. That's unbelievable. Politics we're in today. Great job. But I would still like to see it, make sure that we're being taken care of the people of Trenton before we okay it. Okay, that's just my personal opinion again. So I'll be voting no on that. All right?
Okay.
So just to respond, this bill package is, in my opinion, the only way to prioritize a Trenton project. I've asked directly to MDOT to say, you know, is there any existing funds that we could maybe tap into to say, let's start a grade separation at various communities across the state? And MDOT has literally said no. The only way to authorize something like that is through creation of a fund, and that's what we have to do to make that first step. As I've listed out, the way that we would order the priority, I literally crafted it with Trenton in mind. Many other communities fit that criteria as well, but because, especially specifically around the emergency route, which Mayor Stack and I have talked about extensively, Fort Street being a route to Detroit in the event of any type of emergency on, you know, at Fermi or any other area. We talked about the train length, which would be 3 miles from a train yard, which specifically fits Fort Street into that formula. As well as access to a hospital, schools nearby, and any other type of assisted living facilities that it has access to. You know, you're welcome to vote however you'd like. I do think, though, that this is the best way to make that happen. And in regards to, you know, is it best to have one in Woodhaven or one in Trenton? My position has always been we need them everywhere, because we do. It cannot be one community versus another, because even if it were just in Woodhaven, that does not solve the problem for all of us. It creates some relief for some of our downriver residents, but it is not the totality of the problem. I want a bridge in Trenton on Fort Street, in Woodhaven, at both Allen and Van Horn, as well as one over in New Boston on Pennsylvania. Would prefer to have it on Sibley, but it just doesn't seem possible there. With the addition of potentially finding other, you know, grade separations that could exist as well. The creation of the fund would allow for us to do that, and also send you the bill drafts as well, so you can make sure you can see the language on that too.
Can I ask, Darren, when do you propose that will go into, you know, being voted upon?
So the SB 364, the first one in the Senate, has already passed one of the committees in the state Senate. It should be up on the floor of the Senate coming up either this month or next month. My bills were just introduced last week, and once the Senate bill gets out of the Senate, so once it passes out of there, comes to the House, then we'll take all three and work them through committee. So we just sort of have to wait on the Senate to work through the rest of their process, but they have already started, and they've already voted unanimously to vote out of committee.
Okay. Councilman LaFever, or Councilman Howie.
So a couple questions. So where does Trenton, and as far as the priority, where on the bills that's proposed right now, where does Trenton, how's the priority on that?
So it's not specific to cities, because we can't create that within the legislation itself, but the parameters around which we are trying to prioritize the projects would essentially create Trenton at the top of the list.
So maybe a suggestion is for Mr. LaFever is maybe we just hold off and then get a copy of the actual bill, and then it can go through unanimously, and everybody can see if everybody feels comfortable with
We
that.
have a meeting on November 4th, so we could get those to you, and then we could,
Yeah, I guess my intent here wasn't to like approve something right away, but just to direct administration to draft something for us to review at the next meeting. So.
And then I have a follow-up question. And so what is the priority? So when we talk about the Van Horn or the Allen Road, I mean, clearly, if it's Van Horn, that's 100% Woodhaven. If it's Allen Road, that would help assist with traffic for Roseal, Trenton, and Woodhaven. I mean, I would hope that would be the priority, but where does that stand?
So I'm trying to have conversations on Allen Road. That's my goal. It really has to come down to the mayor of Woodhaven and the council supporting that moving forward. We can actually unlock more money if it is on Allen Road because it is in their DDA. So we could unlock as much as $9 million from the city. And so that is my preference. We actually have plans ready to go for that project already too. And so it does make a lot of sense.
Certainly would be our preference too for us Trenton residents.
And maybe we can, as we have further conversations with the county, that could be something that we can maybe have some additional conversation and support for to try to push the county to help us with that as well. I guess the outstanding question with Allen Road, it really is the underground infrastructure that we don't know the details of how much that would cost to move. So we're sort of waiting on, I should have next week, a more detailed cost estimate because there is some infrastructure underneath that we have to move. And it could be, one certain figure. It also could be way more expensive. We want to ensure that we're not uncovering some things that could basically make this project not doable.
Anyone else? Councilman LaFever.
Yeah, hey, I applaud what you've done so far, okay? It's been great, okay? But my concern, I live down there, okay? I'm concerned when the train blocks it for 45 minutes and you've got a 5 or 6-year-old kid in that school bus with no cell phone. His parents don't know where the kid is. They don't know where it's at, okay? That's a big concern. It's a concern. I had a friend die down there years ago. He couldn't get to the hospital. That's a concern of mine. And I apologize to everybody else here, okay? I'm not concerned about your Walmart half-gallon ice cream that may melt over there. I'm sorry. I'm concerned about the people that are here and the lives at hand. And you've done a big step for us there. I just want to get a chance to make sure we get a chance to address the railroads and let them see our plan and tell them it makes sense or not. You were gracious enough to look at it, and you've done a great job looking at it, and I applaud you for that. I just want to make sure before we get done with it all, that really, to think we're going to have 3 grade separations in this area is not going to happen. Okay? It's just not going to happen, okay?
Well, let me handle that. I work in the legislature. I'll work on that piece.
I appreciate that and put faith in it, but I just want to make sure that before I support something, I'm putting the kids and the lives, people getting to the hospital ahead of everybody else. And I feel very strongly about that, okay? And I echoed that to you as well as the mayor did. And I hope you just get a chance to look at it and say a couple words towards it, okay, and help you get it done. But to go ahead, the last time, some people signed on here to go ahead and support it over there, and I wouldn't sign on. I want it to be in Trenton for everybody's sake.
So I'm with you. I want one in Trenton too. The only way for a Trenton project to happen, barring some sort of deal that happens out of the $1 billion that is still left on the table, is through this fund. It's the best way to move it. I cannot move the funding that's already been allocated to Woodhaven. It is specifically for the city of Woodhaven based on the budget appropriation. And so we cannot move it to another project. The safety concerns of all of these rail crossings, to say that the one in Woodhaven is only about going to the store is really untrue and a mischaracterization of the safety that people have to deal with, because Van Horn is an access point to the hospital, as well as for not only Woodhaven, but folks who live in Brownstown as well. And so it is a safety issue for all of us. I'm terribly concerned about the people in Trenton too. And that's why I'm working on this larger package. This has literally been going on for my entire life. And no one has made any progress on this significantly until myself and Senator Chang this term. And so I'm excited about it. My hope is that we can, get as much support from downriver, because we know that we deal with this in the worst way, and that we can push this forward and let legislators in Lansing know it's not just us who are advocating for this, but people across the state as well.
I think you're doing a great job. I just want to make sure we get a chance to fine tune it. And Trent was the first city went after the grade separation. Nobody remembers that
2007, I think it was.
John Conyers came and got was it a $2 million grant, Kyle? Is that fair to say? $2 million grant for the city of Trenton, and never got moved much further than that, okay? And so we were actually the first ones on board with that.
And just so you know, I did contact MDOT, and they are going to see if they can update you know, what it would cost to do the different ones. I think there was 3 that were left
Right.
after they went through it. And so I'm looking for pricing so that we can figure out how much it's going to cost for us to have that done, so.
But I do appreciate, you've done more than anybody else has done. Kudos to you, okay? And it's really good to get bipartisan support today. That's unbelievable, okay? If we can actually find the 2 parties work together, that is exciting. And I look forward to you keeping us informed what we can do to, you know, I'm not against Woodhaven by any means, okay? But to make it best for all of us, all right?
Thank you.
Thank
you
you
very
so
much.
much. And I know that Stephanie Chang wanted to be here, but she was.
Yeah, she's running late. She might pop in at the very end of the meeting as well. Just a quick other note, my coffee hours, we've got a series of them coming up on Friday, October 25th. The closest one for you all will be on Groseal. We'll be at the Tasty Freeze at 3 p.m. Is there anybody, you know, who lives in City of Trenton who is able to make it? We'll have further conversations there, as well as our regular coffee hours on the second Friday and second Monday of the month that you can find more online at repcamillary.com. So thank you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Darren.
Okay, so next item on the agenda is for a late item, and I believe that our city administrator has something that he wants to bring up for a late item, please.
Yes, a motion would be in order to call a closed session following the adjournment of this meeting for the purpose of discussing property acquisition.
So move.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Okay.
Do we have to roll call?
Oh, I'm sorry. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Benedetti?
Yes.
Howie?
Yes.
LaFever?
Yes.
Peruggi?
Yes.
Rezeppa?
Yes.
Stack?
Yes.
Von Crooks?
Yes.
Did I? Motion carried, Mayor Stack.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is I'm going to defer to our Mayor Pro Tem, Councilman LaFever, for disbursements and statements along with reports, please.
I think, Mayor, I move we authorize disbursements of $590,537.69. Authorize the ACH transactions of $1,790,457.10.
That's 11 million.
11 million, I'm sorry. 11
Support.
million.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered.
Okay, the next one is I'll be here for a while. Receive and place and file the financial summary dated September 30th, 2019. The schedule of investments and cash on hand dated September 30th, 2019. The 2019 police and fire actuarial valuation and the GASB 67 to 68 report. The City of Trenton Retiree Health Care Plan, the GASB statement numbers 74 and 75, accounting and financial reporting for post-employment benefits other than the pensions dated June 30th, 2019. The Police and Fire Pension Board of Trustees meeting dated August 21st, 2019. The Library Advisory Board minutes dated September 27th, 2018, November 8th, 2018, January 10th, 2019, March 14th, 2019, May 9th, 2019, July 11th, 2019, and September 25th, 2019. Next, receive and place and file the Retiree Healthcare Benefit Plan Board minutes dated July 24th, 2019. The Civic Commission minutes dated September 9th, 2019. The Historical Commission minutes dated September 9th, 2019. The Recreational Commission minutes dated May 21st, 2019. The Fire Department and Police Department reports dated September of 2019.
We need support.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Do you have anything else at this time?
All right, now, you don't hear anymore? Want me to repeat them?
Okay, so it's going to go under other council business. And first of all, because I get to say it first, I want to thank Councilman Howie for all he's done for our community. It's been sometimes trying, but we all come together as friends afterwards. But we appreciate all that you've done for our community, and maybe we'll see you down in the future.
Sure.
Back up here.
you.
Thank you very much. I might as well do the rest of what I've got. I went to a Eagle Scout. It was a Eagle Scout Court of Honor for Alexander R. Heron yesterday, and this young man has actually gotten his Eagle badge, and I'm going to have him come down probably on the 4th to receive a proclamation from our city. He did a great job. His project was to do backpacks for east side of Detroit where there's kids that are in need, so he did a great job. He ended up doing 2 years of backpacks, which he was only supposed to do one, but he continued with the second one. The City Awards nomination forms are now available for anybody that is interested in nominating a person for the Trenton Knight of the Year, Good Neighbor of the Year, Senior Citizen of the Year, Outstanding Woman, Outstanding Man, Outstanding Trenton Youth, and Charlie Brown Awards. So if anybody's interested, you can go to our website, www.trenton-mi.org, and either that or pick them up at the Recreation Department. The Recreation Department has those forms. I also would like to wish our police and fire director, and they weren't expecting, she's not expecting this, but I'm going to wish our police and fire director's mother, Mary Ann Voss, happy 80th birthday. She had a party they have their parties all at Dell's, and so it's a tradition, so I wished her a happy birthday on Facebook also. Okay, so my first council person for other council business is Councilwoman Bon Crooks.
Okay, good. Okay, I'd just like to announce that the Trenton Education Foundation is having their signature event at Crystal Gardens on November 15th, and it's going to be a great, great party, raffles, dancing, lots of fun. At 6 o'clock. Thanks, Dr. Doyle. Yep, 6 o'clock. I'm on the committee, and we're getting a good response, a lot of sponsors, and all this foundation money goes back into making things great for the kids at Trenton High School and the middle school, and of course the elementary schools. And so I just want to remind everybody to get your tickets. Tickets are available. I believe they're $50 a piece. They're at the board office, and they're selling tables too. So you're all welcome to come, whoever wants to come. And also, I know we're going to bring you back, Bob, and have a little roast of you when you come back to get your plaque for serving so long. But I just want to let you know that it's been my honor to know you as a friend and to also serve with you on this council. I think along with many, many residents in this community, you're going to be missed. And you've always been honest. You've done a great job. And I'm very proud of you and proud to serve with you. So
Thank you,
I just
Taylor.
hope you go on and enjoy your family. I know you work hard and your kids are all awesome and your wife, and you just deserve the best that life has to offer.
Thank you.
So thank you for letting me be your friend and on the council with you.
And we served many years at the DDA, too.
We sure did. Yep. You're awesome, and you're definitely going to be missed. So that's all I have tonight. Thanks.
Councilman Benedetti.
Well, just to say, Bob, thanks. I know I haven't been here that long, but we've tried to work things out in the past, and we've done it. We've agreed and we disagreed, but we could still sit here and do this. And I think you had the best interest, and you still do, of the citizens and the city in your heart, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
You have to understand, we're giving Councilman Howie kudos today because he won't be able to attend the next meeting, so. Councilman LaFever.
Just a couple of things. The first one I'll bring up, we had an opportunity, all the candidates had an opportunity to go to the Trenton High School and talk to Mr. Hoffman's class and the students there and give a little politicking down there. And I enjoyed it, and I heard all the candidates did a very good job, okay? I heard you were one of the top 6 people there.
Oh, great.
But it was good. It was really enjoyable. So the kids taught me a lot. And somehow, I don't know how we got into the deal without having Rick there. We got into the medical marijuana issue. Unfortunately, we're out of there. But the kids had a really good opinion about it. The one thing I did learn was that 3 of the kids told me that their mom had breast cancer. And it was a sad deal. It was a very sad deal that 3 of them out of 14 had that. It was very touching to me, okay? And so I always wear my pink suit on breast cancer awareness, okay? And I ran home late tonight, and I couldn't make it. so I want to apologize for not wearing my pink today. Bob usually wears a pink shirt. Nelson wears his pink shirt. Anyway, I don't see any
else has
pink
got
here at
pink?
all. It's embarrassing, okay? 28,000 people run downtown Detroit yesterday, and it was a great support, but it's a great help for people, and my kudos go out to the people who are fighting that breast cancer. It's a deadly disease, men or women. I had one very close friend, male, who had it, but hopefully working there to make a cure of that, and it's a great cause, great work. Okay, the next one was was a little talk about Bob Howie, my good friend Bob Howie. And I've known
Ditto.
friend. Did I say good?
Yes.
Just friend Bob Howie, okay. But over the years, we've been good friends, okay. He's very, very knowledgeable. He does his homework. He's been a big asset to the city of Trenton. We vacation together, so we're good friends, okay. I'm hoping he'll vote for me this time, okay, but I don't know. We'll wait and see. Anyway, it was a real treat to have you on this council here, Bob. You did a great job, and I know that this is not the last Howie we're going to hear from.
Probably not.
All right.
Thank you, Bill.
I'm hoping to be alive when RJ comes down here.
Yeah.
Okay, he's funny.
Little RJ, how old is RJ now?
13.
He's 13, and this kid, the very first year Bob ran, he was out there campaigning. He was out there. How old? He was 5 then.
He was pounding on doors.
Pounding on doors to get Bob elected, and that's a great family. When you see a family like that, the whole family united, you've got a great family. You made my family better by knowing you.
Well, thanks, Bill.
Thank you. That's it.
That's it. Councilman Peruggi.
I'm just waiting for Bill.
He's done.
He says he's done.
Nelson's always so gracious to me, Nelson Harm. I'm trying to think of one. I can't read this. What does it say?
It says Bob Howie's great.
Yeah, what's it say? I'm going to thank, Darren's still here? I want to thank Darren for sticking around and hearing Bob's, farewell speech, okay?
come on.
But he did good, but it was great to work together with you. Had a great chance to meet you there. And I think you're a big asset to the downriver area, and I appreciate that. So thank you for coming down here.
We're going to introduce Stephanie Chang after we get
Yeah.
through the council here. She can show off her baby. Councilman Peruggi?
I just like to, as like the other council persons, I'd like to thank Bob. What people don't know about Bob is that he is well prepared. He obviously has already mentioned that he has the city at heart. He's not in a given agenda. He objectively looks at items. He's willing to debate with us. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but it's always been professional. And I just want to say thanks a lot, Bob.
Thank you.
Councilman Howie?
Just a couple things, 3 quick shout-outs. First, I'd just like to take a moment and thank all the Trenton residents for allowing me to serve as the city council person for 8 years. It's been, it's hard to believe, snap my finger and it's 8 years. Second shout-out, I'd like to thank you, Madam Mayor. Great job. It's been nice sitting alongside on the council with you. All the council members, thank you for the nice comments. We'll miss the opportunity, the Mondays, in our debates and our spirited conversations back and forth, especially when it comes to the budget sessions. Scott Church, our city administrator, Karen Saul, I'm always bumping you and trying to ask questions. Mr. Long, our city attorney, Debbie, the city clerk, got Mike McCulloch, our treasurer, we got John, our assessor, and of course, all the department heads and all the employees. It's thank you for all of your time and your dedication for the city and allowing me to continue to serve alongside you. Everybody, it's been enjoyable. And then finally, just real quick, just like to reach out and say thank you to my wife, Karen, my 4 kids, Connor, Spencer, Kara, and RJ. They've been awesome all the way through and allow me to take the time out of the family life and to serve this great community, City of Trenton. So thanks again.
Thank you. Councilman Mazeppa?
Well, now mine's awkward timing here after that one, but so not to beat the dead horse here, but because I think everyone pretty much cleaned up there, but I just do want to say thanks, Bob. I think a lot of people don't realize how unbelievably thankless this is at times, and it's something that you definitely put a lot of effort in. always did your homework, always were very prepared, and something that I have certainly always appreciated personally. So I hope you get to enjoy probably much more enjoyable Monday evenings from here on out. Maybe watch Monday Night Football here and there, but please don't turn on a meeting for a couple months at very least. So, so thank you though for everything that you've
Thanks,
done
Steve.
for us here.
Thank you.
Then to end it on a high note, can I ask on Riverside Hospital if there's any updates?
Do you have anything on Riverside at this point?
No real,
Don't touch the microphone.
just to turn it on. No real progress or changes since the last update. Again, we have been, or that property has been appointed under the control of a receiver. There is a motion hearing this Friday in Wayne County Circuit Court, and we hope to know more after that.
Okay. And do we know what any like even potential next steps could be coming out of this Friday?
I believe the hearing on Friday is going to be hopefully some type of determination of what powers the receiver does or does not have
Okay.
granted by court authority.
Gotcha. Okay. That'll be super helpful, hopefully.
Yes, hopefully.
One of the things I forgot to mention is that I'd like to thank Kim Worthy. She's been doing her tour around to the different cities, and today we got to meet with her, and she was asking about to our police and, our police officers, or should I say our director and also our police chief, about any court cases that are coming up and if there's anything that's outstanding that she needed to be aware of. So we got to meet with her today. So I thank her for coming down and opening her mind to listening to what we had to say. So you have something else,
Yeah, I
Councilman?
forgot. Kimber passed me over a note that she forgot to read, okay? And this is about the tailgate party this Friday night. The Trenton Education Association has a tailgate party before the football game. I think it's $5 for hamburgers or hot dogs. Is that right, Timber?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's from like 6 till like 7:30, so you want to come down and get a cheap hamburger and talk to Timber or Kyle down there. They'll be down there chewing on hamburgers and enjoy, hopefully, a good football game. Thank you.
It's Lincoln Park, right?
At Lincoln Park.
Very good. Okay, I'd like to introduce our Senator, Stephanie Chang, and if she has anything she'd like to talk about, we have the podium up top there.
Good evening. I think the last time I was here, I was pregnant with my second baby, and there she is. So thanks for all of your hard work and congratulations, Councilman. I think that Representative Camilleri probably gave you a very full update, and you were able to ask some questions. And so I won't talk for very long. Just to note that we're excited about the progress, and especially the signal from our governor that grade separations is something that she will support. And so we hope that our recent progress is a sign of more good things to come. And so you have both of our commitment to keep working as hard as we can to solve as many of these grade separation issues as we can going forward. We think that there's some really strong bipartisan support on this issue, and look forward to continuing to work really hard on that issue.
Did you have anything else you wanted to bring up about things you're working on? Because he gave us an overview of what was going on, so.
Well, one thing I will note is that, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and this month I'm really proud that we actually have passed some really good legislation. Tomorrow, the Senate will be voting on an address confidentiality package, which I'm a part of. It's a set of bills to help protect survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault and stalking, to create a program where their addresses can actually, if they choose to, remain confidential, so that they're able to stay safe from their perpetrators. So that's one thing that I'm really proud to have worked on. And then I also did just pass a bill another bill related to domestic violence, to make sure that we're holding repeat offenders more accountable. So those are some recent things that we've been working on. And for those who aren't on my email list, we do send some sort of like regular updates every other week, and we're keeping pretty busy.
Sent out a newsletter also.
Yes, we did.
Now,
Yep.
do you have, because he announced his coffee dates, do you have where citizens can come and talk?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. So can't remember offhand when the next one is, but they're all on our website, and which is just senatorstephaniechang.com. I think the next one is this coming Friday in Detroit, but we do joint coffee hours every other first Friday. I think we just did one last week or the week before. So our next one will be, I think, in December.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good. Well, thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. And congratulations on your little one.
Thank you.
Okay, now comes time for our department heads. Is there anyone that, Dr. Doyle, would you like to speak first?
Thank you, Mayor Stack and members of City Council. Again, I'm Dr. Michael Doyle. I'm the Community Liaison Director for the Trenton Public Schools. Just a couple things here to update everybody in viewerland of what's going on with the schools in the city of Trenton here. We continue to focus our bond work at Headkey and Anderson. The big buildings you see going up, those are going to be gym, cafeteria, music areas. And weather permitting and everything goes as according to plan, those should be open in January. So keep our fingers crossed. Construction crews are moving right along. And that's our vision, that we have those open in January. We also continue to work with our safety grant and school security. And I'd like to thank Director Voss and Chief Scheffler. About a week and a half ago, the two of them came over to the building to look at what we have going on and help us out, as they always do in any manner. You know, just as soon as Director Voss, Chief Scheffler are a phone call away, you call them, they come right over to help us in anything we need. The next big project you'll see with the bond will be at the high school. And of course, in the winter, there won't be much construction going on, and we'll start working on our new swimming pool, our new fields, some of our new athletic fields. We'll be expanding a hallway in the high school. So we have quite a bit going on. You know, the bottom line is Trenton's a very safe community. Our schools are very safe. It's everybody working together that keeps it that way. And if you're ever interested in a tour or you'd like to see what's going on in school, please give me a call at 734-676-8700. That's the main office line. I can work something out to give you a tour of the school or answer any questions. And we also have, yes, the TEF tailgate, Trenton Educational Foundation tailgate, is this Friday, October 25th. And I'm going to ask everybody again to keep their fingers crossed for good weather. And that's from 5 to 6:30. We'll be in front of the high school, weather permitting. If not, we'll move into the high school commons. And it'd be nice if everybody could get there a little early, because at 5:30, Mr. Paul Frost is going to present 7 new teachers, mini teacher grants from the TEF. So that should be very nice that we present those new teacher grants.
Very
So
good.
again, thank you, and thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Department heads, do we have anything we'd like to report to the public, please? Mr. Beaker?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to announce the Halloween Scary Skate that'll be taking place at the Ice Arena. This is Sunday, October 27th from 5 to 7 p.m. Any little ones that come in costumes get in for $2 for skating. We'll have games and treats, so we look forward to seeing everybody there. Thank you.
And I failed to ask the elected officials, Mr. Dalquist, do you have anything this evening? Mr. McCullough? Mr. McCullough, do you have anything this evening?
Oh, I don't.
Okay. City Clerk?
I just would like to remind everybody that the city general election is Tuesday, November 5th. The clerk's office will be open on Saturday, November 2nd from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. for absentee voting. And the next regular council meeting is Monday, November 4th.
Very good. Okay.
Something quick that I just thought
Director?
of. This week, Saturday, October 26th, from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m., the DEA is sponsoring the National Take Back Day for prescription drugs. So we always have our canister open. You can deliver at any time, but it's an actual promotion. They're promoting this to get the people to bring in their unused prescription drugs they no longer need. But also on Friday, from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. at Beaumont Hospital, we'll have a police officer there, and you will be able to come into the hospital and get rid of your unneeded prescription drugs.
Very good, thank you.
Director, is that pill form only, liquids?
Well, we like just pills because liquids are almost impossible to get rid of for us, to be quite honest with you. We are just storing the liquids right now in our property room. But the pills we can get rid of through the DEA. We cannot give the DEA liquids.
Thank you.
So you might want to take those over to the hospital.
If somebody's got a better solution, law enforcement is certainly looking for it on how to get rid of, we're glad to take them, but unfortunately what happened was the people that were taking them stopped taking them and said, we can no longer do this. So now the DEA is going to do it once a year, but if you can only imagine, we have quite a few pounds and pounds of these pills, so
And,
we're looking for a solution if someone's out there.
Residents should be told also that they should not flush those down the toilet.
Absolutely not. We want them to still bring everything to us, and we'll store them as long as we have to. Like I say, we can get this load, we'll go to the DEA. But the state had been taking them, and long story short, they're no longer letting them get rid of them at the facilities they were getting rid of them at.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Any other department heads? If not, anyone wishing to speak to the council, please state your name and address for the record. Please direct all your questions through me. You'll have 5 minutes to talk. And if you go right back to the podium there.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. My name is Howard Hammis. I live at 2921 Maxwell. And I just have two items I'd like to share with you here. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Mayor for attending Alex's Eagle Scout Court of Honor yesterday. I was invited, but I was not able to attend it. I had an out-of-town commitment to attend to. But having a city leader there like yourself at an Eagle Court of Honor really means a lot. And I'm hoping that more city leaders can do that in the future. Thank you again. I am here this year, Madam Mayor, to inform you and the City Council and the City of Trenton residents that again this year the Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts here in Trenton will have its annual Scouting for Food drive. It will be November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. All of the Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts will go around door to door. We'll try and cover as much area of Trenton as we can with these Scouting for Food bags. Trenton residents will receive a bag like this here, and we ask the homeowner, there is instructions on it, to fill the bag with non-perishable items. Please fill it with food items that are in box and cans. Please do not fill it with food that's in glass jars. We ask the homeowner to please place this bag with food, if they can, out in front of their home on the morning of November 9th, around 9 o'clock. The scouts will be out shortly after 9 to pick up the bags of food. All of food that will be collected on November 9th will be taken to the Trenton Emergency Food Pantry, which is located at 1790 4th Street in Trenton. That's the St. Philip's Lutheran Church. As you know and we all know, this is our Trenton Emergency Food Pantry. This is the food pantry that helps our residents in need who are less fortunate than need food. So I will be back at a council meeting on November 18th to give you a final report. And again, I'd like to say thank you to you and the council for allowing the Boy Scouts of America to continue with this project again this year.
And the one thing is please ask the residents to make sure they're not expired cans on the dates of the cans. So
Okay.
that's one of the things that we look for, especially our Goodfellows and everything. We look for the expired cans. So.
Okay. The only way I could suggest that we can maybe make up a flyer and staple it to the bag saying that.
Yeah, then it helps them with the sorting and stuff. So.
Yes, we will do our very best with it.
Very
ma'am.
good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Anyone else that would like to talk to the council?
Water expired.
Hello, I'm Laura Morrow, 2640 Edgemont. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for the opportunity to speak. As you know, I spoke 2 weeks ago at the council about my opposition to the medical marijuana and the proposed ordinance. I did go to the Planning Commission meeting 2 days later with my husband and Mr. McNally. We actually spoke there. The Planning Commission made it very clear that their scope is only for zoning. They do not get involved in the legislative piece of it, nor the ordinance. So they're sending that all back to the council, and my understanding is at this point there's going to be some additional discovery, education that needs to occur for council as well as the Planning Commission. One thing I did want to bring up, though, my understanding is the lawyer and the state representative that you're having come in as part of the education is Clint Kesto, is that correct?
We've had talks with him, but we don't know if we're going to go with him or not at this point.
Okay,
We
because,
had a couple of talks with him.
okay, my concern was he was actually one of the lobbyists at the legislative level that actually put through the bills for the cannabis, and he actually had funding from the cannabis industry. So he's very pro-marijuana. What I'd like to say, though, is you go through this process, that you take a balanced view, make sure you're getting education from both sides of the fence. I know today at Trenton High School, they had a speaker come in that spoke to the student assembly about what's going on with the marijuana right now. We have drug epidemic not just in Trenton High, but downriver. And by putting the marijuana, again, grow facilities right in our backyard, we're sending the wrong message to our youth. I would say that we could even get the gentleman that spoke to the Trenton students today about the vaping, the THC, what's going on and what he has dealt with firsthand. I'm sure he'd be willing to come and speak to the council as well. Only other thing I'd like to mention is thank you, Councilman LaFever. I know that you came out and spoke and that you did actually state to the students there in Mr. Hoffman's class that you were not in favor of the ordinance as it stands.
Did you want to respond, or?
I don't know if that's really true or not, okay? We discussed it, okay? Everybody put their own input into it, okay? And I was there to listen to what the students had to say, so I was not there speaking either pro or against it, okay?
Okay.
You know, so.
Well, I'll take that comment back then.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And that's it. But I just want to make sure that moving forward to understanding the next steps that the council's going to take, again, looking for a public forum, making sure that there's the input coming from the residents as well as obviously school officials, and making sure that there's a fair and balanced approach to what you're looking at in terms of the ordinance.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just to let you know, we're not in any hurry to go anywhere with this, so just so you're aware of it, we're going to go through the proper procedures and make sure that we have the proper forums for people to speak on it. So we're slowing down the process because at this point in time, it's there's a lot to be learned. I know a lot more about marijuana now than I ever did, but probably don't know enough still. So there's, we'll be talking about that and making sure that we make the proper decision for the community. So, is there anyone else that would like to talk to the council? If not, I'm looking for adjourn. I'd like to adjourn at 8:01. Thank you.
Upstairs.